A Turning Point USA donor, one of Charlie Kirk's closest friends, has come forward with a bombshell that flips the official narrative upside down. According to the source, Charlie uncovered the one secret no American political figure was ever supposed to see. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't dead. Not even close. He was quietly exfiltrated from his Manhattan cell and flown to Israel under deep intelligence protection, while the world was fed a convenient lie. And when Charlie found out, when he started asking the wrong questions, pushing into the wrong files, connecting the wrong dots, that's when the countdown began. The public execution of Charlie Kirk wasn't punishment. It was a warning, a message, a reminder of who really holds the keys to the shadows. Before we dive in, did you know that the Mossad secretly controls most of the world's most popular VPNs? If you're a customer, you need to cancel your subscription right now. The only VPN I trust to protect my privacy from the deep state is vp.net. They're built to block the deep state from spying on you. Visit vp.net/TPV to find out more. Another day and yet more pressure from Israel. This time an Israeli agent living in the United States issued a thinly veiled threat towards American lawmakers who don't fall in line. Watch his expression at the end. That evil smile. It says everything. He knows the truth is out in the open. He knows that Americans know who is behind the public execution of Charlie Kirk. And he knows most people are still too afraid to speak it.
Did you hear what he just said? He threatened politicians in the West that if they don't agree with Israel's war against Iran, that they're going to fall. And remember, he's an Israeli agent. Are you saying Israel will murder politicians in the West or get rid of them politically through bribery or whatever else? What do you mean the politicians in the West will fall if they don't agree to back Israel's war against Iran?
Yeah, we will not vote for them anymore.
Oh, no, well, you don't vote for them now. You're not in our country. What do you mean the politicians will fall?
According to bombshell testimony of a Turning Point USA donor we have coming up, Charlie had just begun to understand the machinery behind the world. The hidden networks, the invisible hierarchies, the people who pull the strings from the shadows. He was uncovering how a small, unelected global elite places psychopathic and compromised pedophiles in positions of power. The kind of cold predatory figures who thrive in the dark and answer only to the power that created them.
Why do you think Epstein had that giant painting of Bill Clinton in a dress in his foyer?
Dude.
Do you know that picture?
Yeah.
That painting?
Epstein's taste in art was not great. Like, if you look at the
No,
shit...
that was great. That painting is like, I got you, bitch. That's what that is.
Oh, right.
You got a president who was on the flight logs 26 times with Epstein, and you got that guy in a fucking dress in your house.
Okay, I'm dumb. I'm sorry, dude. I'm officially dumb because I've known about that picture. And I've just been like, why would anybody want a fucking picture
that
of
is,
Bill?
I got you, bitch.
That's just a like, hey, yeah.
That's I got you, bitch.
That is terrifying.
That's terrifying. Imagine if I knew some horrible dark secrets about you and you came over my house and I have a giant painting of you right when you walk into the front door.
Yeah.
Of you in a dress.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, buddy.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah.
You're right.
How fucking terrifying that would be?
That's terrifying. Now you kind of control a president.
Holy shit, dude.
Holy shit. It's
that's
crazy.
100% what they were doing.
According to the Turning Point USA donor, Charlie wasn't just disturbed, he was devastated. The deeper he dug, the more horrified he became. He told the donor that after what he'd uncovered, he could no longer even look at half of Congress the same way. Charlie realized he wasn't dealing with political disagreements. He was staring straight into the abyss of what these people really were. And once he knew, he couldn't pretend anymore. He couldn't work with them, couldn't stand beside them, couldn't play along with a system built to cover up the sadistic crimes of psychopathic pedophiles.
Decades. That is wrong. Do not let the Senate muck this bill up. And if you're a party to that in the Senate, you are part of this cover-up that we are trying to expose. I am sorry if one of your billionaire donors is going to get embarrassed because he went to Rape Island. That is what they have coming. In fact, they need to be on the other side of bars, a lot of them. Some of them will be embarrassed, but some of them need to go to prison, and the survivors know that. So how will we know if this bill has been successful. We will know when there are men, rich men, in handcuffs being perp walked to the jail. And until then, this is still a cover-up.
Piece by piece, Charlie started seeing the pattern. His own country wasn't bankrolling an ally, it was being managed, coerced and cornered. America wasn't just compromised, it was under siege, under threat. Colonized from the inside out, by forces that operated without oversight, without accountability, and without mercy. Jonathan Pollard was an Israeli spy who gave massive troves of US intel secrets to Tel Aviv. Here, he celebrates Israel blackmailing the US with nuclear weapons.
October 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, when Henry Kissinger instituted an arms embargo against us. And what happened? What happened was an A-4 Skyhawk was parked at Tel Nof Air Base with some interesting weapons under its wings. And we told the Americans, take your eye in the sky and take a good look at the airplane that's on that runway. And the next day, the airlift started to Israel, the arms airlift.
So in other words, we threatened their...
We threatened to use unconventional weapons. I'll leave it at that. And so he said, is this what you want us to threaten now? I said, absolutely, except this time I want us to go forward with it if necessary. If they think we're bluffing, we go forward with it. Look, as far as I'm concerned, when we are faced with an existential threat, we have the right to use any and all weapons in our disposal to eliminate that existential threat. A lot of people don't know anything about nuclear weapons at all. What they are, how they can be used, and I'm tired of using euphemisms.
Charlie was tired of using euphemisms too. His tone had shifted. His rhetoric was rising. And according to the Turning Point USA donor, he was building towards a breaking point. A moment of truth he planned to unleash on the world. That's why he was slated for termination before he could expose what he'd uncovered about Epstein and the shadow network protecting him. And now, for the first time, we've got the details straight from the horse's mouth. After this important word from our sponsor. As promised, what you're about to hear is a one-take recording from a man who has already written his own obituary just in case. He is a long-time 8-figure donor to Turning Point USA, and one of Charlie Kirk's closest personal friends for the last 15 years. He prayed with Charlie, broke bread with him, and was one of the only people on earth Charlie trusted with evidence that could bring down half of Washington. 2 other people who saw the same files are already dead. He believes he's next.
Everything started way back in November 2024, right after the election. That's when the first encrypted drive showed up at Charlie's house. No return address, just a cheap USB stick in a padded envelope postmarked Miami. Inside, dozens of video files. Jeffrey Epstein, alive, thinner, new nose, speaking fluent Hebrew in some of the background chatter. The earliest clip is dated October 2024. He's in a luxury apartment overlooking the Mediterranean, Herzliya Pitua, Mossad's favorite retirement community for assets. In that first batch, he's already laying out the entire playbook. Once our friends in Congress schedule the big reveal, we decide exactly which pages see daylight. The dead guys, the has-beens, a couple royals, fine. Anyone currently holding office or writing 9-figure checks, redacted forever. He even laughs about drafting the redaction list himself and FedExing it to the right staffers on the Intelligence Committee. Charlie knew instantly this wasn't a hoax. Voice print matched, EXIF data on the stills was clean, and one of the clips showed Epstein scrolling through a live internal DOJ document that hadn't even been leaked yet. Charlie told me the sender had attached a single text file. He's not dead. He's protected. Use this before they finish the script. We traced the routing as far as we could. Tor exit node in Virginia, then straight into an Israeli military IP block. Someone either inside Langley who'd had enough, or someone inside Unit 8200 who decided protecting a child trafficker forever wasn't in the job description. They picked Charlie because he was loud, he was clean, and, crucially, he still believed the system could be shocked into self-cleansing. Charlie spent the winter and spring quietly authenticating and building a dossier. He showed a sanitized version to Trump in February. Trump watched 20 seconds, handed it back and said, "Charlie, this is a rabbit hole you don't want to go down." Charlie kept getting new drops, almost monthly. The last package arrived September 29th, 4 days before he died. That's the one everyone would be talking about right now if Charlie were still breathing. In it, Epstein is practically giddy. Timestamp, September 27th. He's holding the actual bipartisan bill language, the one Congress just proudly voted on this week, November 18th. He reads the section about full declassification with appropriate redactions and laughs so hard he has to wipe his eyes. Appropriate, he says, doing air quotes. That's the word we gave them. Works every time. At the end of that final clip, he looks dead into the camera and says, "Tell your Zionist Boy Scout the clock is up. After the vote, the story dies forever, and if he opens his mouth one more time, well, we've handled louder problems." Charlie watched it on loop that night. He was going to go public the following week, full documents, raw video, everything. Instead, 4 days later, he was dead on stage in Utah. The vote this week, the historic release the media is celebrating, that's the victory lap Epstein filmed 2 months ago from his balcony in Israel. He's still there. He's still untouchable. He just watched Congress do exactly what he told them to do, on schedule, on script. Charlie tried to warn everyone. They made sure he never got the chance to finish the sentence. That's the real timeline. Now you know why the files you're getting feel so hollow. It's because the monster who wrote the redactions is alive, suntanned, and raising a glass to all of you right now.
Charlie was in the process of learning about the deep networks that control the world, and the psychopathic paedophiles that are placed in positions of power in the shadow government, controlled by an unelected and totalitarian global elite. Make no mistake, this is the kind of rabbit hole that swallows people whole. And if you're digging into the same territory, you have to stay invisible, completely invisible. Because as Robert David Steele warned, the global elite censor, manipulate, and digitally assassinate people. And the reason they do this is because those people are getting too close to the truth.
I distinguish between the deep state, which is the Vatican, the Rothschilds, and the Chabad Jews. And then they use the Freemasons and the Knights of Malta as fixers, and they use the City of London, Wall Street, central banks as managers. That's the deep state. Below the deep state is the shadow government, which is comprised of the politicians and senior bureaucrats, many of them murderous pedophiles that have been brought into the pedophilia system as a control blackmail element. Those are the shadow government people, but they're not the deep state. They're the best of the servant class. The different ways in which the deep state, and particularly the Zionist supporting foundation for the deep state, which has the Anti-Defamation League as its primary secret police, they censor, manipulate, and digitally assassinate people. And the reason they do this is because those people are getting close to the truth.
The Mossad has warned that Americans who criticize Israel online are fair game. Now, Netanyahu isn't hiding it anymore. He's declared war on Americans in the digital space. Israel are in the vanguard of the elite's endgame. Digital ID, central databases, and total surveillance. All monitored and controlled from above.
Israel is turning every single Samsung phone into a surveillance device. Do you have a Samsung phone? You might want to pay attention. App Cloud pre-installed, impossible to delete. It knows your location. It knows your fingerprint. It knows your IP address. It knows every text, every call, and every search that you make. Did you know that? This isn't just data collection. This is blackmail material. Imagine the power that Israel now has to know who's criticizing them, to know who's organizing against them, to know who's a threat. They will use this against American citizens, against politicians, against businesses.